Okay, we're back here and we got a beaver now, finally, after a couple days. So we're just gonna prep it and get it ready for skinning. We're gonna take out the caster and we take the fur off and stretch the hide. And Matt's gonna take the meat home and smoke it. So we start off by brushing the fur out, any kind of knots or blood clots or anything like that. Because it's easier to get the fur off without no knots. See if we're gonna keep the hide hide safe.
Yeah, and if you want to sell it to the fur trader, it looks a lot nicer brushed. Just try to get rid of all that old fur on it. Start from the head. Don't worry about the head too much because this part will get cut off.
And normally we get fur for trading in the fall and winter. But because this is a problem beaver, we can't let it go to waste, so we're going to use what we can out of it.
Those winter fur's coming out. Go back against the grain. You know, look for rocks and stuff to get out because they'll get caught while you're scraping and rip your hides. Okay, it's just a quick brush. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna remove the feet and the tail. So you just look for the join, find the join. Sometimes it's tricky. If you have a good clippers or something, like pliers, you can cut it off. Most of the times they will pop if you find the joint. You don't throw that away if you're making a bait pile for coyotes. You just throw them on your bait pile. Okay, you'll get the other one off now. Find the joint. You can kind of feel that lump right there. Watch your hands, use a sharp knife. Pop it. And gloves. Wear gloves when you do this because you never know what bacteria or something may be in. Okay, let's get the front paw off. We'll move to the front. This one might be the tricky part, the tail. There's a joint in here. We gotta find it. Huh. Good sharp knife works just as good. This, you save it. You could skin it down the joint, skin it both sides, make wallets out of it. People even eat it, eat the fat inside of it. Okay, once you got all the feet removed and the tail, your next cut is gonna be from the jaw down the belly to the caster. But once you get down here, we got to be careful because we don't want to cut into that caster. That's what we're trying to get. So just make a small cut under the jaw. Okay, this is where we got to start to be careful. Pull the skin up away. Once you get to about here, you got to be careful. You don't want to cut into this too much because that's where the caster glands are. Just come up to there and then kind of go over top of it and then just slowly cut down to where the tail is. Before you start to skin it, these arms can be real trouble areas, these legs and arms, because the hide is still attached. So what you do is take your knife, nice little sharp straight knife, and you cut inside each, just separating the fur from the leg so that way it comes off easier when you get to that part. Because you don't want to get a big hole in your armpit trying to pull the arm through after. And if you do make a hole, they could be sewed. Like they may take the value down a bit, but okay, those ones are ready to go. All you want to do is separate the fur from the leg. That way it's ready to pull through. And everybody does stuff different too. Most of it's this way, but this is the way that we were taught. So this is the way that we do it. Okay, we got all the legs ready to go. You just go from your center cut and just make your way back. Trying to be careful. I know usually we do this in the winter and their fur doesn't pull out, but it must be their winter fur coming out now. Get down into the armpit. And if you leave a little bit of meat on the hide, we put it through the scraper after and that all comes off. Get in behind this arm. This is where you got to be careful in the armpit. You can get your hand in there, pull the meat away. I guess the biggest thing is take your time. If you want a good product, then see the arm pop through. There, arm's off. Finish cutting up to the head, and then just make your way down this side of the leg now. You could go right up to the head, but like I said, the head gets cut off most of the time. There, you got a little leg. Same thing with the back. You just go down. This one may take a little bit more time because you got to be careful with this gland in here. This is the gland that people use for medicine. And okay. Okay, so once you're done the skinning part, it should end up like this. Once you get all the hide will come off. Get every leg out. Lift the beaver up. Pull your hide out. So this is what you end up with. See, there's still a good layer of meat on there, but that's where the scraping process will come in, and we will scrape it off. But right now, you just want to get. You can see I left a little bit of the hard skin from his foot. You want that off. This one's not bad. There we go. Hide off. Now we'll show you how to take the legs off, the back straps, and the caster. Okay, so on a beaver, this is the caster glands. There's two glands on the bottom side of it, right above the poop chute. So you just get underneath, just make a couple little cuts. You want to be careful because you don't want to cut into the caster gland. Oh, like I just did right there. Just keep cutting around it. And if you're not too sure at first, just cut the whole piece around and then trim out after. Okay, there's the caster glands. They kind of have a weird look to them, like a... See, I nicked it there a little bit, but they will dry out. Just trim them up. They always trim them up too when they're dry. There, so I'll trim that out a little bit better. Ooh, no, that's not the caster. That's something else there. Oh, see, I cut into it there, but they're always better to let them dry and then trim them out after, because this will just peel out. So what we were told to do with them is just take them on a nail, hang them on your wall or somewhere where they will get a chance to dry out fully. Okay, so now we're going to take off the hindquarters. You can see the seams in here. You just cut along the seam right down to the join, and you will find a knuckle in here that you can break. See, like push down, you pop out the leg, but then you just go on each side of it, get back inside there. One leg. Same thing other side. Cut back. Right down through. Cut down until you find that join. There, it pops right out. There we go. 2 hindquarters. Front legs. If they're like deer, there shouldn't be bones, but these guys have bones, I believe. That. No, they don't. All cartilage too. Shoulder blade. One leg there. Well, that one came out nice and easy. Another leg there. You know, remove the back straps. Gotta remember it's a beaver, so your back straps aren't gonna be huge. See, they're not that big. A bit of meat left on there. Gotta be careful here, you don't go through and hit that gut. Warm out here today. See, if I would have got a little bit further up when I taken the hinds off, we would have had all this piece of meat too.
The reason we get beavers nowadays is this fur, although it's not worth much money to fur traders, we can turn them into mitts and gloves. We can sell them for quite a bit of money if we craft them. The meat of this, we're going to take the 4 quarters here and the back straps. The rest we're going to leave for, we're going to take to the big pasture and leave for our bait pile. See if we can see any bear or coyotes and try to get on camera. The caster here, we could sell that for $100 per pound. So about four beavers will make a pound of caster. So there is money in the caster part of it. But this is what drove the fur trade when the Europeans came across. This is the #1 fur they wanted from the native people. And this is what we traded for knives and rifles and pots and pans. This was the #1 worth fur back in the day. So now we're gonna put it on a scraper and we'll go from there. Okay, bye.